Hello, welcome back. I'm Claire, this is Purple Poppy, and we're on our Sunday stitching and we're doing our fabric book. So last week, or last fortnight when we were here, I did this cluster with all the beads, and then for homework I did this like hexagonal pattern running down the page with a large one in the middle and smaller ones either side. I then cut two hexagons, one, let's see if I can work it out for you, one that was, let's say 5 centimeters, and then one that was 7 centimeters. The 5 centimeter one I laid face up, and the 7 centimeter one I laid face down, and then I just took the edges and I folded it once and then I folded it again to get this back coming all the way to the front. Very simple, nice relaxing thing to do. And I just put that under that cluster tuck, and then I just did a little Suffolk puff out of that same fabric, which is actually a skirt that I got from a charity shop. So we're now on the penultimate week of pages. There is more work beyond the pages, but we've only got 2 pages left. So this week I'm going to do reverse applique. This is an old one that I did, and obviously it's the wrong colours and style for this book. So I'm going to grab an erasable marker, and you need 2 pieces of fabric. Now I'm going to do a leaf design. You can obviously do whatever design you like. So I've got this green leafy fabric to go on the back like that, and then I've got this like grey to go on the front that's already got like a floral design on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin from the back, and the reason I'm pinning from the back is because I want this like dotted line to show me where, if you've not done this before, to show me where I can draw from or to. So just pinning that on, and then when we turn it over and we're working on the correct size, we'll know that we're within the boundaries of this back fabric. And that's important for this, because if you go outside your boundary, it's not going to work. Okay, so you can see there's my palette area. Make sure I'm on camera. Move you over that way a little bit. Pull my chair in. There's my palette area that I'm going to draw on. So I'm going to do some real basic leaves, because as I've told you many times before, I am no artist. So there's one leaf. Okay, and then if we do a stalk, we can see where our other leaves should be. And you can see straight away I'm no artist, because my leaves don't even match. Okay, and then I'm going to do one there like that. So I'm just going to do the 3 leaves. So I need a needle and a thread. I've got my thread. This is a DMC Perlay size 8, and it's colour number 580. So needle with a nice hole, and we're gonna pull off a length and give it a snip. Now the first part of this is just a basic running stitch, back stitch, whipped running stitch, whatever it is that you like to do. It's the second part that's the fun part, or I think so anyway. And you can do this, as I say, with absolutely any design, if only you could thread a needle in order to start stitching. I've even got my desk lamp on and I still can't really see what I'm doing, so maybe light is not the issue. Oh, for goodness sake, probably doesn't help this needle is actually bent. Yay, there we go. Right, so as always you need a knot at the end of your thread, and I'm going to bring my knot up from the back, and I'm going to start on this bottom leaf. And what I'm going to do is I don't even know which line I'm following now. I'm going to do a back stitch. So we all know how to do that, don't we? One stitch forward and one stitch back. All the way round your lines. So how are you? If you had a good week? Mine's been pretty ordinary. My youngest daughter came with the two grandchildren, so that was a nice couple of hours. My oldest daughter's had a birthday, or her partner's had a birthday. It's all just, you know, much of a muchness really. But then you know what they say, it's ordinary, nothing bad has happened, so that's always a good thing, isn't it? Ow, ow. That's the only thing. If you're not careful, you can stab yourself on your back pins. So it doesn't take long, does it? Not really. This weather's gone absolutely mad. At the weekend it was freezing and I started digging out jumpers, and we were having discussions about the back door being closed and Boo having to knock to go out or come in, and whether or not we should be having the heating on. I stripped the bed, got the electric blanket put on, and it was still cold and horrible early Monday. By Monday afternoon we had all but a heat wave again. It's absolutely crazy. Yesterday it was dull and cold again, because as always I'm filming ahead and today's actually Wednesday, but obviously when you're watching this it'll be Sunday. And today it's not overly warm, but it's very bright, so it's just ridiculous. Okay, so we're almost at the end of our first leaf. You need to make sure that you've got a good connection otherwise when we do our cutting we're going to have a little bit of a problem. And then I'm going to go straight up the stalk, and I'm going to start to build this second leaf. Oh, see, that's what happens when you've got too many lines, Claire. You forget which line you're following and your leaf goes all wiggly waggly. But then, to be honest with you, leaves are nature, and nature's never, I mean, it's perfect in that it's beautiful, but it's never perfect symmetry or asymmetrical, is it? It's always a little bit odd and uneven. Talking of nature, botanicals, leaves. I've been up the garden this morning to deadhead my roses. I think I've told you I've got this fabulous rose bush. It's absolutely ridiculous. Not this summer that we're just coming out of. Last summer, hubby and I went to the garden centre. I was looking for some roses and we bought 2 roses. One small roses, not quite a tea rose, you know, a patio tea rose, but fairly small. And the other in bright red, poppy pillowbox red. And the other one was an actual tea rose, and that was red with like orange centres. And we came home and hubby dug some holes and we planted them. Well, the small little red one is on like steroids. It's gone absolutely ballistic. It bloomed and it bloomed. I think we had 3 different lots of flowers on it, and I kept deadheading it, and it kept coming back. And then when summer was over, I cut it right back, and this year it's come back even more, almost aggressively. It's now taller than my fence. I've had to get one of those like support frames, and it's absolutely beautiful. But I've been out there this morning to do the deadheading that needs doing, and it's full of green fly. So I've had to give it a good old squirt of the lovely soapy water, and in doing that I notice there's new branches on it again. It's absolutely on steroids, that thing. Beautiful but crazy. Right, now I didn't quite have enough thread, did I? Which is a little bit frustrating. And I noticed that, as usual, while I've been talking, my stitches have got bigger and bigger and bigger. Doesn't really matter. So I'm going to have to finish this off and get a new piece of thread. Okay, another piece of thread. And yet the red and orange tea rose that went in next to it at exactly the same time has never done anything. I think we've had about 3 head blooms on it. 3 roses. It's crazy. So let's get this second one in and go again. And I was very good in that when I was trimming off all the dead bits, I brought them indoors. So just travel up the vine there and get that top leaf, vine, stalk, whatever it is. And I pulled all the leaves off to do some eco dyeing with. So I was a very good girl, didn't waste anything. I'm talking about the weather. I'm sitting here doing this and I can feel myself getting hotter and hotter. It's ridiculous. Right. Sorry, I seem to have gone all fingers and thumbs all of a sudden, don't I? Oh, that's my belly rumbling now. And yet I've not long had breakfast, so it's not hungry. It's just misbehaving. Right. Doesn't take too long. We haven't been here that long, have we? How long have we been here? Oh no, about 20 minutes. Quite surprising. When you're doing something like this, you don't think that you've taken a long time, but in actual fact, it's longer than you think. Okay. See, you get so into the zone, you almost forget the camera's on and that you should be speaking to people. Oh dear. Okay, so the last stitch of our third leaf, and now I'm going to come down and do the vine. So I'm just going to do the same back stitch, but I will whip this so that it's a little bit heavier than the petals, not the petals, the leaves. Goodness me, I'm forgetting all the component parts of a flower. making sure that obviously your line is connecting your leaves to the stalk, otherwise it'll be, you know, a bit of a anatomy faux pas. I'm sure anatomy would be the right word. Anatomy of a flower, probably. Okay, so now I'm going to whip it. So that last stitch, again, I'm sure you've done this many times. So from the right to the left, from the right to the left, all the way up the stem. I mean, you can obviously go left to right, it doesn't matter, but whatever you start with is what you must maintain, otherwise you get a weird knot. And then where it reaches the leaf, I'm just going to pop to the back, and there we've got that nice raised leaf. And I'm going to skip that bit that's next to the leaf, and then I'm just going to jump up above it. I think there's 2 or 3 stitches here, 2, and then just pop that through the back, so we've got that nice stem, and then just feed that through to finish it off, like so. Okay, so now the fun part. If you've done this before, you'll know exactly what's coming. If you haven't, wait for the fun. I I'm like 5-year-old, aren't I? Right, you can take all your pins out so you don't stab yourself. And you can even trim your fabric. So oh, there's another pin. Just giving my actual leaves quite a wide berth, but just taking off this extra fabric because we don't need it. Make sure obviously you don't cut through to the other side. There you go, and now you've just got this little bit on the back. Right, the fun. So now you need to grab your back fabric and grab your front fabric. I've recently cut my nails, and pull them apart. Okay, so you can feel there's a gap, and then just put a little hole there like that, so you can poke your needle in. Not your needle, your scissors. Claire, these are scissors. And then we're going to cut away, leaving ourselves a good piece. See the distance? Look. Give ourselves some space because you do not want to cut your stitches. If you cut your stitches, yeah, you got it, it's all going to fall apart. There you go, and then you've got your leaf coming through from the back. I'm going to do that for all 3. Make sure they're separate. cut yourself a little hole, pop your scissors in and trim away that front fabric that you now don't need. And if, like me, you had a multitude of lines, then obviously you can iron your lines away. So I just put a little trim on there again. This is our third leaf. And I've got to be honest and say, it doesn't matter how many times I do this or I see it done, it never ceases to make me smile. I absolutely love it. I think it's super clever. The other thing, of course, is I could have done a fourth leaf. Actually, I might do one. You can do it the other way round and cut from the back and poke something in to stuff your pocket so that you've got a three-dimensional leaf, you know. Just gonna trim that because that one a bit off. How long we've been here? Oh, only 26 minutes. Okay, so if we do an extension to our stalk, we can add another leaf there, like that. Have I got? Yeah, that should be big enough. Try and hold it up to the light so we can see exactly where that drawn line is. That looks fine to me. So we just put a couple of pins in to hold that. Okay, so that's held there. We'll take our, where did my needle and thread go? Famous last words, of course. Did I? Oh, it's there. So needle, a bit more thread. We're just going to repeat what we did, but this time, as I said, we'll do it in reverse. Whoops. So thread this needle. It's called, I can never think what it's called. It's called trompe something, I think. I'll have to try and look it up and put it in the description for you. So we'll do a knot. We'll join onto our stalk there, a stem, do our running stitch up, sorry that you can probably hear hubby talking on the phone, but as I said to you before, we do both work from home, so it is, you know, one of those things. But obviously when we cut the back here, we don't want to cut it all out because there'll be nothing to hold our stuffing in. So we're just going to cut a slit and poke into it. It's a way of, you know, an interesting way of padding out. And you can obviously use whatever depending on how big your piece is. You could use wadding, you could use, you know, the sort of stuffing you use for children's toys. I tend to use stray bits of fabric. I've even used cotton wool in the past because it's not something that's going to be washed. It doesn't really matter too much. It's just about getting the shape that you want. So I keep thinking, because I'm bringing it closer so I can see what I'm doing, that I'm pulling it off camera. If I am, I do apologise. Right, pull it over. Take that out. Stupid now, I feel like I'm rushing now. Take a breath, Claire. Slow down. Oops. Okay, here's the last stitch, and then we'll whip that last bit of stalk. So right to left, right to left, right to left, right to left, and again, and then whoops, bring that through to the back, and finish that off. Okay, so now we can trim off this excess again. Cut those excess pieces off. A, it makes it a bit neater not to have all of that excess on the back, and B, it makes it less bulky. Okay, so there's our new additional one up there, but as I say, we don't want to cut the whole thing. We just want a little split. So this time we're doing our slit that we were going to poke our scissors through at the back. Okay, and I'm going to use some alts. So just going to poke those in. I'm just using the end of my scissors while they're closed to stuff that in. Gonna cut them off. Right, so that's the bottom bit, and then I need to open up that slit and get some stuffed into the top area. You see, it's amazing how much you can stuff in there. Just keep playing with it until you feel that it really is as cram-packed as it can be. Okay, and that's usually long after you think you're there. You can feel it's all padded out. And I'm just going to cut all of those. Tuck the last few ends in, like so. Okay. And then I'm going to take the needle that we were using. It's still got thread on it. I bet I'm hanging off screen, aren't I? Oh, it's not too bad. I'm going to do a knot. And then I'm going to come right down on one of the really solid pieces, poke that in and do like a sort of herringbone stitch to seal it up. Making sure I'm not too close to the edge because I don't want it fraying and coming off. There you go. So we've closed that hole up, and that is now all sealed in there for prosperity, or whatever you'd like to say. Okay. And you can see that when it's flat, there is your stuffed leaf. Push it forward a bit. There you go. There's your stuffed leaf. Okay, so that's not the book, Claire. This is the book. Get all my alts back in there. Then if we find our page, here's our page. This is going to sit on our page to about there. So I'm just going to tear that off. Add this. Add this to my page. So pin that down. And then I will probably choose a coordinating thread. So I might even use the pink that's in there or something similar, and draw a frame to stitch it to the page. So there it is pinned, and then if I take my pen, and my homework will be to stitch this obviously to this page, and I'm going to do it in the decorative form of a frame. So trying to get it the same sort of distance from the top and bottom as it is from the sides, and then just doing some kind of stitch. You might want to do a running stitch, so you get stitch, gap, stitch, whatever, all the way round. It'll make it decorative and it will hold it down. If you wanted to, you could even reinforce that line so that you don't get so much of that puckering between here and there. Because if you were to, bearing in mind this is going to get sealed up, if you were to come back through at the base of that leaf, there's my loose thread, there it is, come back through at the base of that thread, you could then go in and out of that line, and in and out, yeah, so needle either side, in, out, go all the way round. You'll actually be holding that down firmer. It's almost an invisible stitch because it gets lost within your leaf. It doesn't look like an extra line of stitching like the framework will. But it will hold that puckering at bay where you've got padding. I feel like I've been here forever now. Oh, there comes Boo. It is not lunchtime, is it? No, it's not. She's early as always. I think she was half starved. Dog eats better than I do. And you can see the leaf, yeah, on the back there, and just finish that off, because as I say, that'll all be seamed inside anyway. And there you go, that's now obviously connected. So there you go, that's this week, reverse applique. And as I say, next week will be the last next fortnight will be the last actual page, but then we've got all the joinings and finishing ups to do and putting it into a book. As always, thank you for coming along and spending time with me today. I hope you found joy and inspiration. Stay safe. I'll see you very soon. Ta-ta for now.